Welcome to Create LARPS for All LLC. You can reach out to us at createlarpsforallllc@gmail.com. We're going to be focused on LARP creation and LARP content. Good to see you. Hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Keep being awesome. So, let's get into action economy. During a combat round, players generally have two actions. By that I mean like one offensive and one reactive action. Since the combat rounds are supposed to be 3 to 6 seconds, and once you get good at this, especially at some real LARPs, if you're swinging attacks back and forth, 3 seconds is a long time. But while everything's still verbals and people are learning, it can be a little bit trickier. So limit yourself to one attack action or one offensive action, even if that's using your healing skill to heal somebody, and one sort of more reactive defensive action like a block or a dodge, which you may be using some of your stacks to use. And if you don't have a defensive skill, then you just get one action per 3 to 6 combat second round. So typically 2 actions for most players, sort of a block dodge type thing and an attacking type thing. That's generally all that can be done in a 3 to 6 second combat round. As players get faster and can do more, they can go a little bit faster than that. You don't have to worry about people spamming abilities. Everyone gets an action in a round and takes effects. Let's get a little bit more in depth about hit points. Players start with 20 hit points. I think I got rid of the toughness skill. 25 hit points. So players start with 25 hit points up to a cap of 75 from various stacks and buffs and various other things. All hit points stay divisible by 5 unless something's hitting for a minimum of 1, in which case you're going to round up or down. So if you take 3 1s in a row, go ahead and round up to 5. And a lot of LARPs, that's how they'll tell you to track damage anyway, especially ones that do a lot of things with odd numbers, like 7s and 9s. They just have you rounding up or rounding down, especially if you're not good at math in your head. Another note about hit points, you always take a minimum of 1 damage. Even if you block or dodge, it just reduces it to the minimum of 1, never to 0. Same for monsters. This is a teaching game. We want people to always be making progress. No matter how strong the villain is, you're always chipping away at them. No matter how well you are at dodging and blocking, even the most skilled heroes, you can only keep that up for so long before you start to need healing or repairing of your gear. So that's a little bit more in depth about how hit points work. A little bit more on some of the verbals of the game. The verbal got it. G-O-T-I-T. This lets you know that someone's taking your effect. They understood what you're talking about. This lets other players know that you know what they're talking about. Most of the effects in the game as you play, you'll understand them fairly quickly. But if someone, throws some damage at you, you can say, got it. They know that you took it. They throw some damage at you, or some healing at you, you can say, got it. It's a little bit of a quick acknowledgement. You're going to use it all the time. Eventually, people won't need the got it as much. But especially while you're learning, especially when you have a lot of new players, even when you don't have a lot of new players, using got it to sort of acknowledge what's going on. Sort of like on the radio where you say out or over to try and say the conversation's paused or you're done talking. Got it can also be good for that. Maybe that wasn't the best analogy. But there's not super strict things on the verbals here. If you understood what someone's effect did to you, let them know. Tell them, okay, got it. So alongside got it, another very well used verbal should be clarify. This is definitely for new players, but it can also be for existing players if they just didn't understand how someone said something like flaming or fire, or they said ice too fast and you didn't catch it. Since this is a teaching game, it's always okay to slow down and try to understand what's happening and what's going on, especially if some ST or someone running the game wants to come up with something cool like a void effect or like paralysis or some sort of like anti-magic thing. You can go, hey, clarify. and then they can pause and explain to you what's going on, what your character sees, what's happening. Clarification is always fine. Some LARPs, they might not slow down to clarify for you what's going on, especially during the big field battle. There's all sorts of effects and abilities happening. This can help you understand new things in the LARP a little bit faster. So clarify is another one. You can just be like, hey, clarify. This doesn't pause play for everyone else necessarily, but it does let you understand what's going on. Now, on the subject of repeating verbals, you do not need to repeat verbals that are repetitive or the same. Now, as things change, especially towards the beginning of a combat, let's say you're dodging for 20 because you're burning a lot of stacks to do so, and you're calling 20 damage against a monster while you're burning through your stacks, and then you get to where you don't have any dodges left, and you're doing 10 damage because you picked 10 damage in a skill. Well, you don't need to say the 10 damage every round. It should get to where this is not like the lightning bolt meme where you're like lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. Fast talking does not make you any faster than anyone else at the game. It's more of this is the skill, this is the damage. At some point, as people play this game a little bit more, you start the fight with your 10 in your combat, and you're using something to dodge, and then that runs out, and you don't have any dodge left. Well, they know what you're doing to fight back. They can be taking that damage as they're fighting you. Hopefully you win. You just play it out and see who's still standing at the end. But repeating verbals is only maybe to keep from there being too many clarifying calls, or maybe to make sure someone's got it, especially if they're getting attacked by a lot of different people. But you don't need to constantly reiterate the verbal every single round if you're doing the same thing. You only need to say the verbal if the numbers are changing, or if you're targeting a new player, things of that nature. Thank you for watching the video. Again, like, comment, subscribe, dislike. Hope to see you in the next one. If there's something about the LARP you'd like to learn, it's eventually going to show up on the channel. If there's something about a different LARP you'd like to learn, I'd like to film it, get it up here, research it, know a lot of people in the community, and if I don't know them, I'm willing to reach out and figure out whatever you'd like to know about LARPing. There's so many different genres, there's lots of ways to do this, and there's no reason why you can't just do this at home with your friends and have a good time.